Hey, what's up, sports fans? DFW Sports Nerds here. I am Lance Sanders. This is Derek Finnan. We are sports nerds to the core. This show is all about DFW sports, mainly the Big Four, which are the Cowboys, Rangers, Stars, and Mavericks. This week, we're going to bring you a show that's pretty heavy on the Cowboys and the Rangers because that's the time of year it is. So our first segment today is going to be a Rangers segment about how we got to the postseason. Our second segment will cover the Cowboys game from last week and look ahead. Segment 3 will be heavy on Rangers postseason, and we'll come back to you with our outro and our picks. So that's the way it's going to roll today. Thank you for tuning in, and check out some music. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the music. That is the Mammal Virus, a song called Killer. This first segment, we're going to look back at the Rangers' run to the playoffs. We're super excited. The Rangers are in the postseason once again. Came down to the last day. Derek, what did you think of the final series versus the Angels?
Cole Hamill was money. He brought it home. He only gave up 3 hits, and he delivered. He was the big man. But it was a collective team effort. Everybody, when that one inning, when they busted out and had those 7 runs, it was no joke. Like I said, they were taking it home and taking down the West, and they closed out good.
Yeah, it was amazing to see them come back after a day on Saturday. We're speaking of Sunday's game. Cole Hamels pitched 9 strong innings to lead us into the playoffs. But the game before is what I want to talk about because that's where my concerns lie. We were up by 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning on Saturday, and what happens? A massive comeback, massive comeback, and they made us look like bitches and ended up winning the game 11-10 by 1 run, and they just came in and destroyed us. Do you see that happening in the postseason, or do you think this might be more like the 2011 dominant run that we had to the World Series?
Each and every time the playoffs come around, it's a different beast, and the Rangers, far being only tasted the playoffs since the late 90s until now. And that's maybe sprinkled 4, 5, 6, 7 times. But having that World Series taste 4 or 5 years back, this is a different club. Jeff Bannister coaches a different way, and that they are executing and doing different things than the previous team of just not even a half generation ago. But this team is solid. They're ready for a playoff run. They know what production is, and going up against Toronto, the highest scoring team in the league right now, going into the postseason, they got to be ready, and everybody got to do their part. The pitching got to step up. The fielding got to be there. It's got to be done.
Do you think there's any way we run into any scenario that we might have an AL Division Series with Houston? Do you think that's a possibility?
It's a possibility, but that you have to take care of business with Toronto. Toronto is no slouch. David Price is starting out for him tomorrow, as we got our own hometown boy going up against him up in Toronto. But that is not here or there. You got to take care of Toronto, and everything will play itself out in the end.
Yeah, to get there was one hell of a trip. I personally, after seeing the loss on Saturday to the Angels, I thought this is it. We're fucked. One thing that does bother me a little bit about this team is I think they play around too much. They say that it keeps them loose, that's their that's just the atmosphere of the clubhouse. I think they need to be more businesslike. I do think that, them, going nuts every time they score a run isn't the way to act in the postseason. It's not how you win championships. You don't win championships out there fucking around. And baseball, I gotta say, is every bit as hard as any other sport to get a title in. It's not the era of the Yankees anymore. You can't go out and buy a $200 million World Series trophy. So the Rangers really do have a lot of work ahead of them. Like we said, the Blue Jays, will be going over that in segment 3. But I think our starting rotation is really tough. You've got Giovanni Gallardo, you've got Cole Hamels, you got Derek Holland, which we don't know which Derek Holland's going to show up. He's a real streaky player, and of course we got Lewis backing up the rotation. Who could have seen the season that we got out of that guy? I mean, Jesus, he was up there close to the top in wins.
It just played out the way it's supposed to. He had the run production, and he had stellar pitching when he needed it, and he had the run support to back it up. And the intermediate and being able to have the closeouts that happened got them to 88 wins. That got them the West. But now the real season begins. I mean, the season is a grind. It's 162 games. They won 88 of those. Now that's wiped clean. This is now the playoffs, and this is I hope they conduct themselves in the same manner accordingly, as you said. Like, it's more business-like. It's still okay to be loose. It's still okay to have your gestures and the pause and all that other stuff. But, this is about wins, and this is about championship.
Yeah, it's business time. Would love to get some predictions from you guys out there. Feel free to hit up DFW Sports Nerds and, tell us your opinion on what's going to happen here in the postseason. We're going to move into segment 2 now. Thanks for tuning in to DFW Sports Nerds. And we're back. DFW Sports Nerds. I'm Lance Sanders. This is Derek Finnan. We're going to move into segment 2 now. Get some Cowboys talk out there. Big loss Sunday in New Orleans at the Superdome. Lost it with 2 minutes left. There is a major problem with this team, and I think it starts at the top. The clock management was horrible. You can't leave a guy like Drew Brees with 2 minutes left in a game. He's going to come back. If he's down by a touchdown, he's going to come back every time. He's proven this to us for years and years. So, what did you think of the game, D?
The backup, Whedon, did what he did to keep the ball moving and keep the offense flowing. He didn't turn over the ball. He managed the team very well. The cost of Lance Dunbar going down is huge. That's just another blow to this offense already, and that another running back have to step up and take that place. And it has not been proven yet. And they made it to overtime, and they managed to clock well, but you can't give a veteran quarterback who's won a Super Bowl any time on the clock like that. And unfortunately, a rookie did get burned with the injuries that have happened. Sean Lee being sent out that game as well, and the rookie linebacker missed an actual assignment, and that was Spiller in that overtime 13 seconds. It's just clock management, and it was backups stepping up and being that man and doing what they need to do when the job is presented to them. They did well. They held a dang good team to overtime, but they're going to have to do better than that at home against New England.
Absolutely. And we do have a big game coming up. The hated Patriots come into town. There's problems all across the board with this, but my number one worry is how the hell is Byron Jones going to hold Gronkowski? Rob Gronkowski being the big tight end from up in New England, unstoppable player. What do you think's going to happen this week with Gronkowski?
You got 4-time winning quarterback Tom Brady come in leading a hot New England team. They're 3-0 as the Cowboys are 2-2 playing at their home turf. They've never solidified that new stadium in Jerryland as being a home field advantage. I mean, most people come there and marvel at the 60-yard television screen, but it does not have a home field as the Cowboys yet. They have not yet proven themselves to be able to back up that home field. I mean, it's more of an experience, and I mean, I guess you does have to be there, but also they just got to step up and do what needs to be done. I mean, they got backups at every position. It seems like now every critical position. You know, main receiver, main quarterback, the main backup running back. They just got to step up, and these players, you pay millions of dollars to perform, and we're gonna have to see what's going to be the product.
Yeah. I see us losing this game. We will have our picks in our final segment today, so be ready for that. But I just don't see us having a chance in hell against this team. They're healthy. We aren't. They won a Super Bowl last year. We didn't. I don't think that even with Tony Romo and Dez, it's still a toss-up. So do we win this game with Brandon Weeden and Terrence Williams? No, we don't. It's horrifying what the Cowboys are doing. A number I can throw at you fans out there. We've only completed, I think it's 17 out of 41 first downs for a 33 percentage of converting third downs. Last year, that was Dez and Romo all day. Third downs, we knew what was coming up, and we knew that we could get them. We can't get them with this team. I don't think we can do anything with Terrence Williams. What do you think?
We'll see what practice went like this week, what the scout team did for the first team, and Whedon, he managed, and hopefully he managed at home, but the end product, none of them turnovers, clock management, move the ball, even with the backups. You're running with the first team offense. You're running with the first team offensive line.
You're not backups anymore.
You're not backups. You're now the starters, and this is what you got to go. This is a ship. This is what you've been laid to command to do. And hopefully, I mean, don't lay a goose egg. Whatever you do, just go ahead and play football. Play what you know to be due. Run that ball twice. Pass. Run it 3 times if you're getting 3 yards at run. But I don't know. He's clock management. Got to have about at least 20 to 25 handoffs to whoever the running backs are going to be and throw those short intermediate routes, get Witten into the game. You might be able to manage not getting blown out at home.
Might be able to. If we play our best game, we'll hang with these guys till the fourth quarter, and then they'll blow us out. But if we win this game, does that show us all of a sudden that we are here? And, I mean, if we do somehow manage to walk away with a win this week, does everybody start saying, holy shit, we've got it made? With this backup quarterback situation, I don't see that happening. But if it does, do you think we win this game and pick up some momentum and maybe win a few games?
It all depends. I mean, like I said, it's the NFL is an any given Sunday. Any team can get up and perform, and this team is loaded with people in those intermediate roster moves that are supposed to step up in big games, and this is still a big game. This is, keeping the ship right and not going below that 500 mark. But you're going up against a 3-0 team at home with backups in the critical positions, and just knowing and being on that first team, knowing that you got to right the ship. Tony Romo's giving the signals that he's talking. He's in Wheaton's ear, and he's telling him what is there and what is not, and trying to get the schemes of the defense. He's saying the same cadences, to kill, 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 if you noticed. And like I said, it's basically him in his ear and directing this ship. And so maybe not this game, but you will see those little things correct itself until the other pieces of the puzzle get put back in play.
Yeah. Um, who knows? Maybe we can pull a 9-7, a 10-6 season somehow. Um, when Romo comes back, we do have 6 weeks with him. That's if he comes back after 8 weeks. They're saying that he's doing really well in his rehab. He's he's making good progress. So hopefully we will have him back. But that being said, until then we're stuck with Whedon, and I just don't see him doing anything. I'm sorry, guys out there. I know it's gloom and doom over here, but until the guy proves to me that he can win, then I don't see us having any chance in hell, and he hasn't proven that to us. Do I place the blame on him for last week's game? No. That's all about clock management. The players don't manage the clock. That is the head coach's job. He's not the offensive coordinator anymore. He's the head fucking coach. You got to manage the clock. You have got to know what to do and how to direct your players. You don't stick them in a 2-minute offense when you're already in the red zone. You start banging it down to the goal line with the running backs. And that's not what we did. We just ran down the field and left them with 2 minutes. If we play like that and it comes down to 2 minutes with the Pats, you're damn right they're going to beat us. So, any more comments, Derek? Anything else you'd like to add?
We're just going to see. I'm ready to see what these boys are going to do. Like I said, in Jerry Land Sunday, 3:30.
Yep. Let's go Cowboys. Let's go Cowboys. Never lose the faith out there. DFW Sports Nerds here. I'm Lance Sanders. This is Derek Finnan. We come back to you with our last segment, all about the Rangers playoffs, baby. We are in the postseason, and we're here to bring you all the information you need.
We fight, we kill, we destroy anything that we know down. Don't sleep, should have down before you hurt me. Clock ticks, seconds left, time to step into the zone. Let it loose, you're ready. This blood comes down like rain.
We're back, DFW. We are coming to you with segment 3. I am Lance Sanders. This is Derek Finnan. This segment's going to focus on the Rangers playoff run. Derek, what do you see happening in this first game? Giovanni Gallardo starting up against David Price. What do you see happening, bud?
I hope it's the same Gerardo that what happened on the first 2 times he took on the Blue Jays this year. He shut them down, and that's why he's starting game 1 in Toronto Thursday, and he's taking on an ex-Cy Young winner in David Price. And he's a strong left-hander, so you got the left-hander going up against the Rangers offense. And Toronto is a very strong team right now. They wouldn't be in the position they are. They took down the East, and that's a beast to take down the East. You take it down Baltimore. You take it down the Yankees. You're taking down the Rays. You're taking down, let's not forget, Boston, but they bit it this year, and this has gotten winning the West has got them to this. And they got to take on a strong team that produced all those runs, all those home runs this year, and they're the leading producing offensive team in the American League. And our pitching, it's strong right now, and the on-base percentage is strong. They got to not make any of those errors. I hope this team comes to play, and this is playoff baseball. This is what you live for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our rotation matches up pretty good against theirs. I think our starting 4 with Gallardo, Hamels, Holland, and Lewis. I think that these guys are strong enough to beat this team. I think the Rangers have the talent. With Napoli, with all the trades that we made, Prince Fielder going nuts in the last 5 games, Beltre's starting to get really hot. Everything's clicking at the right time. I think, like you said earlier in segment 1, that it is a new season. These guys never get more than 2 or 3 days off in the season, except for the All-Star break. So these guys are fresh. They've been practicing every day. They're a really cohesive unit. You don't see him throwing the antlers or any of that dumb shit anymore. That was for 2011. This season, it's different. Earlier, I commented that I don't like how much these guys play around. I think that they do need to clean up their on-field antics. That's going to piss off other teams, and that's exactly what happened on Saturday with the Angels. Was these guys running around, high-fiving, acting like idiots, and it pissed them off something fierce. And they came back and they beat us. We barely won the West. We did it on the last day of the season, but like Derek said, it is a new season. What do you think about our chances as far as winning this series?
It's a very strong chance. They got to go out here and see what production happens and what doesn't in game one. Make those adjustments. You got to at least take one of two games up there in Toronto and get it back on home field and see if they could do something at home and possibly push this to whatever games they need to, because it's either sweep, it's either a series, it's either a battle. It's up to them what they're going to do, and if it's going to go ahead and be a short series or a long series. But you got to start with game one, and it's above the border, and it's playoff baseball in North Texas. It's something some of these guys have experienced, some of these guys have experienced, and it's just all a new experience to them, and they're going up against a tough team, and hopefully they play cohesive like they have been doing, because they put forth that team effort to get the West. And I think this team is ready for a deep playoff run. They're set up for a deep playoff run. Everything was put into place for a deep playoff run. They're peaking at the right times. All the position players are stepping up, and they got to go out and do that same thing that got them the West in the playoffs.
Yeah, they got to get hot. They got to win series. One thing I don't like about this first round in the playoffs is there's only 5 games. So those of you that aren't too familiar with baseball and the way the playoffs work, this isn't a 7-game series. The NBA had this problem, and they started making their first round 7-game series instead of 5. I think that needs to happen in Major League Baseball. These guys have played 162 games, and I think it should come down to a 7-game playoff series. That being said, it's not that. We have 5 games. We've got to win 3 of them. I think if we take 1 up in Toronto, then we can come back here and win 2 in a row and move on. I really like the leadership on this team. I love Beltre. I love Fielder. There's a really strong clubhouse feel. And the guy behind it all, Jeff Bannister, has got to win Manager of the Year.
This is true. I concur wholeheartedly. Jeff Bannister is the AL Manager of the Year. He's bringing in a hot team. You got to go ahead and give credit where credit is due. He's done his thing and made this happen. He had a veteran-led team. You can't forget Elvis Andrews. You can't forget O'Dear. Everybody's stepping up and contributing. And the chef brought these pieces to the plate and made the stew work. It is it's a conglomerate. It's a gumbo. You're mixing all these parts, and you're hoping for a good turnout, and it's turned out real good, and that's because of the AL leading and the AL Manager of the Year, who's going to be Bannister, guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed. I do think that once we win this series, it gets a lot tougher, of course. But with our starting pitching being so strong, I think that we're ready for a playoff run. I think that this team can go far. I'm picking the Rangers to win the series in 4. D, you got a pick?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to correct you there, because this is only a 5-game series.
Right, so they win 3, right?
Yeah, 3. No, yeah, you would say they're winning in 4. Okay. I mean, I'm thinking it's strong like that, but I'm thinking
4 games. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be a whole 5-game series, unfortunately, and they're going to have to get it done twice in Toronto, because some inexperience is going to take place. I'm still thinking, but I am still confident that they can pull it out in 5.
Still pull it out in 5. Right on. Well, we are DFW Sports Nerds. We're coming back to you with a real short segment with our NFL picks for the week. Thanks for tuning in, and check out some music. We'll be right back at you.
Boots on the ground, Snoopy's the one.
back at you. One thing I forgot in the previous segment, I'm going to give up to you in our outro here. If the Texas Rangers win the World Series this year, your boy Lance Sanders will get a fucking Texas Rangers tattoo right here on my fucking right arm. And that's a bet. So let's pull for the Rangers. So Lance has to get a fucking Rangers tattoo. Anyways, we're coming to you with our picks this week. I've got the Packers winning, the Colts winning, and the Falcons winning. Derek, what are your picks?
Joe Flacco and the Ravens will take down the Browns in Cleveland. I got Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals taking down the Seahawks at home. And I also got Peyton Manning marching into Oakland Coliseum and taking down the Raiders.
Hell yeah. Well, that's our picks for the week. And that brings this episode to a close. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.